Hi, it's immigration attorney Christian Zeller. It's Tuesday, October 26, 2021, and this is an important travel update. Yesterday, on Monday, October 25th, the president announced a presidential proclamation titled, "A Proclamation on Advancing the Safe Resumption of Global Travel During the COVID-19 Pandemic." This proclamation, which takes effect at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on November 8, 2021, will end the travel restrictions under the previous presidential proclamations. In addition, pursuant to the president's proclamation as of November 8, the Department of State, meaning our consulates and embassies, can process visa applications for individuals physically present in the affected areas. So here's a summary of what you need to know. You must be fully vaccinated to travel to the United States by plane if you are a non-US citizen and non-US immigrant. That means if you're not a United States citizen, you're not a national of the United States, you're not a lawful permanent resident, meaning you're not a person with a green card, or you're traveling to the United States on an immigrant visa. And there are only limited exceptions, and I will touch on those a bit later. In addition, you are required to show a negative COVID-19 test result or documentation of recovery from COVID-19 when you travel to the US by air starting November 8th. The timing of this test is going to depend on your vaccination status and your age. In addition, wearing a mask over your nose and mouth is required in indoor areas of public transportation, including airplanes, traveling into, within, or out of the United States, and indoors in US transportation hubs, including airports. Now, what does it mean to be fully vaccinated? According to our CDC, you're considered fully vaccinated if 2 weeks after an accepted single-dose COVID-19 vaccine, 2 weeks after your second dose of an accepted 2-dose series, 2 weeks after you received the full series of an active, not placebo, COVID-19 vaccine in the US-based AstraZeneca or Novavax COVID-19 vaccine trials, or finally 2 weeks after you received 2 doses of any mix and match combination of accepted COVID-19 vaccines administered at least 17 days apart. Here are the accepted vaccines. The single-dose vaccine, that's only the Johnson & Johnson Janssen vaccine. The others are Pfizer-BioNTech, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Covishield, Sinopharm, and Sinovac. Of course, as there is with any proclamation, there are exceptions. And here are the exceptions. Persons on diplomatic or official foreign government travel. Children under 18 years of age, persons with documented medical contraindications to receiving a COVID-19 vaccine, participants in certain COVID-19 vaccine trials, persons issued a humanitarian or emergency exception, persons with valid visas who are citizens of a foreign country with limited COVID-19 vaccine availability. However, that does not apply to B1 and B2 visas. Members of the US Armed Forces and their spouses and children under the age of 18. C, crew members traveling with a C1 and D non-immigrant visa, and persons whose entry would be in the national interest. And we've all heard that before. That sounds like an extension of the national interest exceptions. However, we do not know any specifics about that yet. Now, if you travel by air to the United States under one of these exceptions, you will be required to attest that you are exempted from the requirement to present proof of being fully vaccinated against COVID-19, based on one of the exceptions that I just mentioned. Based on the category of the exception, however, you may further be required to attest that you will be tested with a COVID-19 viral test 3 to 5 days after arrival in the US, unless you have documentation of having recovered from COVID-19 in the past 19 days. You will self-quarantine for full 7 days even if the test result to the post-arrival viral test is negative, unless you have documentation of having recovered from COVID-19 within the past 90 days. You will self-isolate if the result of the post-arrival test is positive or if you develop COVID-19 symptoms. And based on the category of the exception, if you intend to stay in the US for longer than 60 days, you may additionally be required to attest that you, number one, agree to be vaccinated against COVID-19, and you have arranged to become fully vaccinated against COVID-19 within 60 days of arriving in the US. So there you have it. Lots of stuff, complicated and confusing, and I'm sure I will have more specific updates for you shortly. So stay tuned for those additional updates. And finally, since today is October 26th, to all my Austrian compatriots, happy Nationalfeiertag. Goodbye.